The voice of growth. Mastering the mind and market. Timeless wisdom, proven strategies, and the deep work that creates lasting success. Like and subscribe to stay aligned with what truly drives results.
Welcome to the Voice of Growth podcast, Mastering the Mind and Market. My name is Manny Turan, and I'm your host. The world does not need another copy of you. They need the original of which only you can become. This idea of authenticity is something that, in my opinion, needs to be fully explored because we're taught from a very early age that we need to conform, behave this way, behave that way. We are taught in this entrepreneurship and all of these things we see online to fake it until you make it. The world is a stage and you're an actor or a portrayer. Well, guess what? There is a lot of collateral damage that comes with living your life that way. Distrust, the sheer energy required to pretend. There's so many reasons why it's important to be authentic. This idea is something that came to me yesterday with a conversation with a dear friend. And, I get my ideas from all kinds of places for these monologues, but mostly from just being curious and open-eyed. And that's part of my being authentic. Authenticity and vulnerability are cousins, and they're both extremely powerful in understanding and moving your vision, your sense of peace forward. Pretending is exhausting. Pretending to be more charismatic or more confident or knowing the rules of the game, the rules of engagement is exhausting. And while you might be able to do it for a little bit of time, eventually it will come and crush you. So today's podcast is really understanding the ideas of authenticity and to harness the power of them if you want to live a fulfilling life, abundant life, successful life. Because in my definition of success and abundance and prosperity, being authentic, being me has to be part of that. Otherwise, in my opinion, I'm not successful. I could have all the money in the world, but if I'm not out there in the world as myself, then all that money is for naught. It is worthless. I love myself. I love the life I lead. And I'm not saying that to be pompous or to be full of myself. I'm saying that because I've actually come to a place in my life where I am aligned throughout as much as possible. Alignment to my core values and to my core. Who am I? Alignment to the world and what I say and how I interact with the world. And then alignment with those that I let into my world. It's all in alignment. Now, is there moments that are not? Yeah, of course there is. But I try really hard and I work at it daily to get into this alignment. Authenticity is not soft. Authenticity is a sharp edge tool and is one of the greatest competitive advantages for you to become not only successful, but also at peace and joyful and satisfied. Those other elements aren't always talked about in business and in life, but they're so important. Being authentic reduces cognitive load, increases trust faster, attracts the right people, and repels the wrong people, which is also a gift. In my circle that I've been curating for a while now, I have people that are in the inner circle and I have people that are on the outer circle that I have at an arm's length because I have a mutual business benefit, but beyond that, there's nothing more. Now, we can get into whether or not that's important or not, but in this world, you can clearly see that not everybody will be part of your tribe. And I might as well say it now. The reason why we pretend, the reason why we're out there trying to be somebody else that we're not. The reason that we struggle when we're going into a new group of friends and we see how they operate and we take who we are and we make slight adjustments because we want to be liked. We want to be accepted. That acceptance is hardwired into our 350,000-year-old operating system because as cavemen and women, we're basically dependent on the tribe for water, food, protection, procreation, safety, all those things. And if we're thrown out of the tribe, then we don't have one or more of those elements, and we have the propensity to die. That's why it's so hardwired in us to belong. Authenticity is not just a no filter. It is not just a way that we present ourselves. That's part of it. It's a lot more than that. I mentioned alignment earlier. Well, I'm going to talk about why it's so important to have that alignment in a few minutes here. Real authenticity is displayed by you say what's true, you behave in alignment with your core values, and you let consistency do the heavy lifting. You show up to these events, you show up to every day in a manner in which is consistent with the way you are, so it's easy to do. It isn't that hard. What's hard is the potential backlash that you feel will happen, and it might, and if it does, those people aren't your tribe. We hide because we're afraid of rejection. We hide because we're afraid of criticism, and we hide because we're afraid we're going to be thrown out of the tribe. We hide because we feel like our real self isn't enough. And that's tied really deeply to self-esteem. And self-esteem is a very profound concept that we're not going to even talk about today because it's so deep. All I can say is, especially from somebody who during high school suffered from very low self-esteem, but chose to build it brick by brick by brick to then be able to have a platform to stand on, and adding more bricks, adding more foundation and more strength. So now I'm standing on this platform, speaking to my audience here on the podcast, being authentic as much as possible, being vulnerable as much as possible. That mask that people use to pretend starts off as protection, but eventually becomes a prison. And I want you to not have that prison in your head. It's terrible. The Stoic mindset is pretty much the opposite of that. The Stoic mindset is love your fate, amor fati, be out there, be who you are, and if others reject it, they're not your tribe. One of the main elements of authenticity is tied to trust. Trust is when built over time will become your alignment to people, to brands, to causes, to your family. And that trust, what I mean by it is that when you show up, there's a trust that they understand how you will be over and over. I mentioned consistency earlier. That's where it comes from. They can also trust your word. When you say something, they understand that that's your self coming out. There's no second guessing what's behind the scenes. It's right there. Authenticity makes you legible, gives you the ability to be heard. Rather than cower behind something that you're not, stand strong and proclaim who you are. In business and in life, it's just super important. And the real test is when pressures arrive, how will you respond? Goes back to that Stoic conversation we've been having for a long time. The mental advantage of being in an authentic place is immeasurable. There's a cognitive load that comes with pretending. Every lie requires maintenance. Every persona requires acting. And every mask has to be remembered of, okay, this is who I am with this group, this is who I am with that group, and it's exhausting. I would say that in my earlier times, I wore some masks. I tried to fit into different groups because I wanted to belong. And guess what? Those groups are no longer part of my life because I've recognized that what's as important for me is fundamentally to be authentic to myself, and by doing so, the world around me. Stop asking, what should I say? Who should I be? And start asking, what is true to me? That what is true to me at every moment in time where you're thinking, is this my tribe? Is this where I belong? Should I say that? Who are you at the core? Who are you with your family? Who are you with your close friends? Who are you when no one else is around? And people can be chameleons. People can mold. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's a dark side to it, of course, the Machiavellian side, this inauthentic side. But there's another side where you kind of just flow. I am a very gregarious guy. I love speaking. I love chatting with people. But there's moments when I'm quiet, when I'm reserved, when I actually don't feel like being the loud guy. And I'm not saying I'm going to cower in the corner. I'm simply saying that for me, there is just days that I'm not that excited to be out there center stage. If we now look at this through the lens of a brand, you can start to see how it can be beneficial for a business to be aligned as well with authenticity. Look at a brand like Sony. When you buy a Sony, there's a promise made. I bought this Sony. The promise is that I expect high quality, ease of use, and the projection of my best self through the lens to the world. If for whatever reason that promise starts to break down, if there's constant issues or there's breaking down, there's a certain point where I will start to lose trust with that brand and I will throw it out of my circle. If you also look at things and brands like Harley Davidson, do you think they are apologetic about their brand, or Tesla? They stand firm with their following. They're good with their brand. A personal brand works the same way. Signal beats performance every time over the long run. So performance will come and go, like we're talking about this camera. But if the signal that I'm getting from the market, the brand itself, I could say, well, this is just a lemon. Let me try another one. And if that other one has an issue, well, then you start to erode the true nature of the brand. But it likely is, as we know Sony to be a quality product, it's just merely a fluke. So I need to be really consistent with my personal brand such that people learn how to trust me and learn how to expect things from me because of the consistency. Stoics weren't, I'm going to reframe this a bit. Stoics weren't obsessed with image. They were obsessed with alignment. Alignment. Do your actions and your words match your values? Do you remain yourself under pressure? Does your character align with who you want and who are you becoming? All massively important. Look within. Within is the fountain of good. That's what Marcus Aurelius said. That powerful statement, looking within, because within is this big fountain that you give the world. Your personality, your way of being, your alignment, and how it's projected out to the world consistently, that builds trust, all of that is a gift. It's a gift. It's a rare and precious gift that only you can give. Individually in this world, there's almost 9 billion people in this world. Each of us has a unique gift. Each of us has a unique personality that needs to be not only nurtured to grow, but also needs to be projected, because in my opinion, success is your duty. You succeeding means that your community succeeds. You succeeding means that your family succeeds. You succeed means that you succeed in taking the next step and building that momentum like a snowball effect and creating a bigger and bigger impact in your community. I've seen it play out. When I do my interviews with my guests, I see them and I hear their stories of their humble beginnings. Each of those people were kids learning how to tie their shoes, learning how to ride a bike, getting bumps and bruises, being a person in the world that is either going to decide to be a creator or a destroyer, deciding to take what the world gives them, spit it out. If your world was full of hate and bigotry and anger, or take what the world gave them in the sense of love and devotion and encouragement and amplify it. Either way, they're successful. Either way, when you stand in front of a mirror or you stand in front of a crowd, there should be some alignment between the two. I'm not saying that you're going to be the same exact way alone than with a crowd. I'm saying that authentically speaking, at your core values will be the same. Success without being truly known becomes lonely. If your success is projected in a certain manner and then you retreat back home into a different kind of way of being, you're not going to enjoy the full totality of what that success can bring you. The performance that you're giving will eventually ask for payment. And that payment can come in the form of depression, can come in the form of a breakdown, can come in the form of people walking away from you that you really wanted to be in your circle. The version you built to protect yourself can eventually be the one that isolates you. I don't want to see that from my audience. I'm going to list off 5 practices that we came up with here that might give you a sense of how to be more pure and aligned with your true self. I mentioned earlier, alignment is major, not only with Stoics, but with myself and with you as well. You need to be aligned. The 5 practices. Number 1, tell the truth faster. Meaning, put yourself out there faster. Don't wait until it's too late. Months, weeks, hours, whatever the situation might be. Put yourself out there. Be truthful as soon as you possibly can. Number 2, stop copying everyone. If you walk into a domain and everybody's acting a certain way, the social proof, all the elements I mentioned of psychology start to kick in and you start to kind of roll with the way that they roll. No. Stop copying everyone and start being yourself. Start acting in a way that is just the way you are. Could be weird. You could be a weirdo. I'm a weirdo. It's all right. To some, I'm a weirdo. To some, I'm just exactly how they are. And so find your tribe. And guess what? If you're a weirdo amongst quote unquote non-weirdos, then who cares? Who cares? I would much rather live in alignment with who I am than live in a misaligned world where people around me are not my tribe anyway. Number 3, name your values. Take the time to name your values and what's important to you at all levels. Fundamental values about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and all the little other things that you are aligned with. Put them on paper. It helps you to understand what you stand for and what you will not stand for. Number 4, make your word absolute. Your word is all you got. I tell my children this, I tell people around that your word is important. Do as much as you can to stay to your word. You're going to be there a certain time. You're late. Pipe up, give a call. Hey, I'm going to be late. You don't ghost anybody. Ghosting is, in my opinion, a very pathetic thing to do. Even in the case where there's somebody that's like annoying you and you don't want to be, just speak up. Hey, listen, I'm sorry. I don't think this is going anywhere. Whatever it might be, let it be known so that you don't have any of that around you. Number 5, accept that some people will not like you. You're not going to be everybody's tribe. You're going to be somebody to some tribe. Other tribes are not your tribe. So be okay with that. I think that Growth without betrayal of yourself is the only way to grow. Authenticity does mean that you have to continue on a daily basis to be authentic. It's not always easy to do. There's days that I wake up and I go to events and I catch myself rolling with the waves rather than being the lighthouse. Rather than standing strong and understanding that this is the way I am, that maturity is not fakery, and that, guess what? The oak tree does not apologize for who they are. The oak tree that starts off as a humble acorn eventually grows to a massive, massive monument to who they are. They're not asking for apologies. They're standing strong, and so should you. As we begin to close the podcast here, I'll say a few other things. You are the only person that has ever existed in the universe that is truly you. You are a gift. That gift of who you are, that alignment of yourself, your core values, what you say, what you do, what you project to the world, and who you let in, that whole alignment is your unfair advantage. I've talked about strengths in the past. I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have a podcast with a person who is a strengths expert. The whole idea of these Clifton strengths, that it's like an assessment and you get like 34 strengths that are who you are. And it really is more about what comes easy for you. So these strengths, the more you are in alignment with these strengths in your job, in your life, the easier it is. And when you're doing things that are not on your top strengths, it takes more energy and you feel awkward. You feel like you're a baby giraffe trying to stand up. You feel like your legs aren't solid. And the idea here is to lean into your strengths. Don't dilute them. Don't pretend like you're not a certain way. Find jobs, find roles that align with your strengths. And aligns, that strength concept is basically your authentic self. The more you can be part of that, you can begin to predict it, protect it, and strengthen it, and ultimately use it out in the world. Live it. You want to live these strengths. Your authenticity is your one advantage that no competitor, no algorithm, no one can ever replicate. That is massive, and you should definitely use that to your advantage. To close out, be real. Recognize that not everybody's going to be your tribe. Recognize that when you're truthful to yourself, to your word, to what you do, and you put it out to the world, and if they don't like it, who the hell cares? Because you've got a mission, and your success is your duty. Thanks for listening. Cheers.